Hello, I'm Pamela Davis. Welcome to episode 156 of the Well Done Life podcast. Hello, and welcome back to episode 156 of the Well Done Life podcast. I'm your host, Pamela Davis. If you are new here, hey, how are you? Welcome. I am so glad that you're here with me today. I hope that you stay for a very long time. If you've been here before, you guys know the deal. I love you deep, and I really appreciate your continued support on this journey. So I hope you stay for a long time too. Before we get started with this week's episode, I like to be very foundational. It is very important to me to make sure that we are building this safe space, this house on two very important foundations, and that is clarity and love. With clarity, it's really straightforward. I just want you to understand that I created the Well Done Life brand because I believe women are the foundation of society. I think we need places and spaces where we can be our most authentic self, where we can laugh, we can cry, we can share our joys, learn from each other's wins. Really grow and celebrate each other. So welcome to this safe space. And then that leads me into my second favorite thing, or actually my favorite thing, because I love love. I believe in love, and everything that we do in this space is going to be rooted in love. So I like to make sure that every week I send you prayers. I think it is really important that we pray more for each other, that we give each other that nourishment of prayer. So I want to make sure that I am sending you this week prayers of peace. There's a lot going on. I am recording on Friday night, June 30th at 10:28 p.m. I cannot believe this is the last month of the second quarter. We're about to go into the third quarter, the last half of the year. And I just want to send you prayers of peace because there are so many demands on our time right now. There's so many things that we're all being called to do. And many of them are just things that we want to do. A lot of us are out here living our dreams, building our goals, or aspiring toward those things. And it definitely sometimes can feel overwhelming when you're in this season of growth, no matter what that looks like. And so I want to send you prayers of peace. I want you to be able to carve out time for yourself where you sit still. There's power in stillness, And it is really important that you give yourself that time so that you can be still, so that you can process where you are on the journey, where you can really savor it and enjoy it and learn the lessons that might need to be learned so that you can go forward in excellence. So I definitely want to make sure I'm sending you prayers of peace. I am also sending you prayers of love. Love is always, like I said, going to be the thing. It is my favorite thing. And in this season where you're out here doing all the things, you need to be surrounded in love. And it's not just romantic love, but I want you to be surrounded in reciprocal love on all levels. I'm talking about friendships. I'm talking about relationships, family. I want you to be surrounded with people who are 10 toes down for you. You guys know how I feel about 10 toes down. At this season, this level of life that we are doing, we do not have the bandwidth to allow ourselves to be with people who are just not 100% down for us. Like, not everybody deserves the goodness and fullness of your energy. So you have to make sure that those people that you hold near and dear, those people that get access to you in that deep, dark, private place of your heart, they need to be 10 toes down for you. And you need to be 10 toes down from them, because remember, this is not one-sided. We're all about reciprocity up in these streets. So you need to make sure that it is a reciprocal union that you are manifesting and that you are cultivating with these people in your life, no matter what level that they're on, as well as also be 10 toes down for yourself, because you need that in this season. Like I said, this season, we're all out here doing all the things. That means we are betting on ourselves. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we get a little further into the episode. But when you are out here betting on yourself, you got to know that you are down for you believe in you, and you are not going to let anything or anyone stop you from going forward, because you know that this is your time and you want to seize it on all points. And so along with this season of love and, betting on ourselves and reciprocity and peace, I want to also make sure that I am sending you prayers of abundance. I want you to be abundant financially because you can be a blessing to yourself and to other people, but I want you to be abundant in your spirit. I want you to know that life is meant to be lived and to be enjoyed. We are not just here to work. We are not, that's not our existence. We are here to, obviously getting in the bag, stacking our chips, getting our money together, no matter how you say it, it is very important. And it does afford us certain aspects of life, from the basics, but also to the extravagant, to the dreams that we are trying to cultivate. So I wish you all of those things. But while you're out there doing all of the things and cultivating all the wealth and doing everything that your heart desires, make sure that you are creating moments within yourself that will make you abundant within your soul. I know I must sound like a broken record, when I talk about this, but abundance in your soul is so important because, again, there's only so much stuff that you can chase. You can only have so many bags. You can only have so many cars. You know what I mean? Like, it has to be more to you. And there is more to you. And so make sure that you are cultivating the space where abundance can find you, not just financially, but also spiritually. And then rounding out my prayer this week, I want you to have the prayer to be able to reset. And we're going to talk about that. Actually, resetting is the topic of this week because I feel like this is a season of reset, especially as we're going into the last half of the year. But I want you to be able to have the spirit to be able to reset, because having the spirit of being able to reset will serve you well in those times when you are really out here trying to make it happen, because there are going to come things that will deter you from your path or that may open up your perspective. And you need to be able to give yourself a moment to sit in stillness, process what you are learning or experiencing, and make adjustments accordingly. Like I always tell you, you guys know one of my favorite authors is Don Miguel Ruiz. And one of the things that he talks about in The Four Agreements, one of my favorite books also, is the fact that our best changes. When you do your best, that is an agreement, but you also do your best with the understanding that there are going to be times where you are not operating at 100%. And there's going to be times you might be operating at 20%. And that's okay. That's still your best for that season. And that means that you have to reset, you have to adjust, you have to pivot to be able to accommodate where you are at that particular moment in time. And it's important because if you have the ability to reset, pivot, to adjust, that will keep you more consistent in regards to achieving your goals. One of the things that I know from myself and from what I've talked to other people about as well, one of the things that is a major goal killer, major goal deterrent, is that a lot of times, you get sidetracked and you give up in the sidetrack. You don't pivot because you get stuck. And a lot of times I think that happens, I know from myself, that in that moment where I felt stuck and I didn't pivot, I allowed my fear to sit on me and prevent me from being able to look at the situation from the viewpoint that I could pivot. And I didn't change my viewpoint, obviously, until I was able to control my fears, my doubts, because our mind can fool us in many ways and limit us. So when you have the ability to reset, to pivot, you give yourself space to talk through your fears, to talk through those things that are holding you back so that you can make decisions faster, which will allow you to keep moving in your goals. And that's one of the most important things as we are on this journey, because I'm sure we've all encountered it. You're going to get deterred on your journey. I mean, that's just nothing else I can say. The healing journey, like I've told you guys numerous times, it is a 365-day a year journey. And there are moments on that journey where it's like, you're going to get deterred. Something's going to happen. Life is going to life, and you are going to be sat down. And you have to understand that in those sitting down moments, you either have one or two choices. And actually, if I think about it, you have a multitude of choices, but I'm going to stick with just one or two for this. Essentially, you can either take this time to look at the deterrent, see how you can move through it, and how you want to move through it. Like, does it force you to have to, reset your thinking? Are you going to maybe have to take a little bit longer to achieve your goal? Just all the things that could possibly be adjusted to help you be able to achieve your plan. Or you're going to make the decision to say, you know what, this is just too much for me, and you're going to sit in it. And you're going to make the decision probably based upon how you're feeling at that time. And it could be fear, it could be sadness, there could be so many things that you are feeling, and all of your emotions are valid. But the thing is, when you've decided not to be able to pivot, to just sit in the fear and to sit in the situation that you are in, you are allowing your emotions to have a lot of control over you versus you having the control over the emotions. Because remember, like we talked about before, there comes a point in our life as we are trying to achieve everything that we want to, where we have to learn how to speak to our fears. We have to learn how to talk over ourselves. And again, because of course I can always reference Don Miguel Ruiz in everything that I do. That speaks back to being impeccable with your word, where you have to be able to speak positively over yourself, even in the situations where you are frustrated, even the situations where you are down. You have to give yourself grace so that you can make better decisions, because there is nothing worse than making a permanent decision in a temporary situation. And a lot of the setbacks, a lot of the challenges that we face are temporal, but we treat them like they're permanent. And once we make that determination, it stops us from growing in that season. And it doesn't mean that you're never going to grow. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to achieve your goal. It's just you have placed a limitation on yourself that is going to change your trajectory and how you get there. And you are going to probably have to recognize when you do come back around to it that maybe you would have gotten here faster if you had bet on yourself. Maybe you would have gotten here faster if you had spoken a little bit more positively about yourself, encourage yourself through versus sitting in the fear. And again, that's not a right or a wrong, because I would be lying if I sat up here and acted like I've never sat in fear. I sat in fear for quite some time. As I have told you guys numerous times before, it took me 10 years to start this podcast, to start this brand, because I sat in fear. And of course, I look at it. I don't necessarily regret it, because I had to sit in that fear so that I could learn how to go through it. But I definitely look at it as a motivator to remind me now that there is really nothing that I will face that I can't move through. Because even if it sits me down, I won't stay down. So I am hoping that you will have that same type of mentality for yourself. That is why it is important for you to be able to have the ability, or the prayer that I am sending you, of reset. So that is my prayer, or all of my prayers for you this week. Like I mentioned, I'm recording on Friday, June 30th at 10:39 p.m. now. And I hope you guys have had a great week. I've had a good week. I really have. I cannot complain. It has been amazing. It's been a short week because like I told you guys on last week's episode, I was about to head to a retreat. And by the time you guys were listening to that episode, I was in my retreat. I was in California for a few days with some amazing creators, friends that I have met on this journey. And we got together, and it was a girls' trip, a healing trip, a content trip. It was all the things, and it was just what I needed. So it was a reset. And so this reset that I have gone through has really motivated me to want to sit down and have a conversation about it, because kind of like what I told you guys last week, I've been really preparing content for this upcoming month, and I'm actually thinking throughout the rest of the year. And one of the themes of a lot of the guests that I have planned for you all is that many of these women have gone through what we will call a reset, a pivot, a shift, a change in them recently. And so I was like, you know what? I have to talk about it. So that's where we're here. And so essentially, this is my reset episode. This is our reset episode, because we are in the season of reset. And I want to thank everybody for your support of last week's episode, Growth and Gratitude. I'm so glad everybody enjoyed it because, again, kind of recapping the first few months of this year and how I have learned so many different things about myself and expanding myself. I just feel so full of gratitude and love. And I just want to, again, thank you for the support. But I hope that the things that I'm sharing with you encourage you on the journey, because that's where I really get all of my good juju, healing energy, magic from, when I know that I am impacting you. Because I want to make sure that everyone understands our journeys, even though they may be different, there are still always going to be similarities. And I really do believe we are the motivators that we seek. We are the encouragers. We are the role models. We are all those things. We are the tables. And so we need to step up as the tables that we are, because we build, we expand, we multiply, we hold people together, we bring people together. That we have to also talk about the hard times. We have to talk about the lessons, and we have to talk about the moments of reset. So that is where I'm here. That is why we will be talking about this for the next few months. And I definitely, like I said, just coming off of this reset trip, I feel amazing. I have learned so much about myself, as well as my partners that I was with, my friends, my buddies. Even though we're all at different stages of our lives, the intentionality is just so powerful. And I just feel so blessed to be in this season of my life where I am surrounded in very intentional people. And so as I'm going through this journey of reset, and I find that I'm in the season with such intentional people, it allows me to be very transparent, with the things that I am working on and the things that I am looking to encourage myself, and the energy that I need on all levels in my life so that I can stay focused. And so as we are all kind of like talking about this reset and just thinking about it, one of the first things that I have learned is that it is just so important during this time, when you identify that you are in a season of reset, that you make sure that you, again, are surrounded by intentional people. And again, I'm probably going to pivot back and forth, but because I'm already going into, what to look for. But I guess I should probably back up and tell you, why did I even think that I'm in this season of reset? And I really feel like, personally, I am in this season of reset. And one of the reasons why I said yes to going on this trip, because I've been traveling. I've been doing a lot this year and these past few months with work and life, and it's been beautiful. But I needed this reset moment because I had some things that I needed to bring to life, some dreams, some visions for the podcast and things that I want to accomplish. And I was just finding that the daily demands of trying to take care of family and work and just live were not affording me enough time to sit in the stillness of creativity. And that's not, it's not a first world. That's a first world problem, I guess, because obviously we're all out here trying to live our lives. But that's one thing that I noticed, like I needed that time. Like I've always tried to carve out time. I mean, like I carve out time to record. I carve out time to be creative where I can, but I wanted more. And I think that was one of the things, like it was like this pull on me, like, Pam, you want more. There is more that you are supposed to be bringing forth. Like I really do. I have some goals. And I remember not too long ago telling a friend of mine that I feel like I am going close to the sun, because I always kind of like to reference that when I start to do things, I feel like Icarus, if you remember that story where he flew very close to the sun. And I like to say that I operate at my best, to be quite honest, when I am flying close to the sun. And so I'm about to start flying close to the sun, and I needed to sit down and put some plans together so I could get my winged shoes on and get ready to fly close toward the sun. And so that is what I did. And so getting the opportunity to go and do this was just essential. And the timing was perfect. I left work in the middle of craziness, and everybody survived. and I thrived in my situation. I needed it. I needed that. And so, kind of pivoting back to, like I said, first, obviously, make sure you identify that you need intentional people around yourself. One thing to recognize in yourself when you need to take a reset is that you are feeling the pull that there is more for you. When you're feeling the pull that you need to sit down and put this plan that has just been rumbling around in your spirit, in your heart, in your head for so long, you need to put it down on paper or type it into the computer because, let's all be honest, none of us are really writing anymore, probably. You need to make it plain and put it out there so that the universe can receive that energy, so God can see your intentionality, because that's that pull on your soul. And the only way for you to get that is if you prioritize it. So yeah, like I said, I prioritized it. And don't get me wrong, this trip has been months in the making, months. But, I felt like just time just flew by for us to get to this point where it was like, okay, it's time to go, girl. And so I left. I left my family. They were cool. I made sure that they had what they need. I left job. It was cool. We had some issues. We worked through it, but I was still not giving up my time. And that's another thing that you have to recognize when you need a shift, a pivot. There is nothing that you are willing to give up for that time. You know that you need this reset time. So you're going to make it happen. You're going to take the days off. You're going to be available via the phone if you need to be or not for work. You're going to make sure that your family has food, that they have what they need. They will not die without you. They will survive a day or two without you. You can call and check in. I called every day, child. FaceTime, because I want to see you, make sure everybody's cool, and we worked it out. So you will do that because again, that pull on you is what is motivating you. You know that this is something that you need to do in your spirit. So like I said, I took the time, I did it. And when I was there, it was really good because it was very focused on, we're going to see a little bit of the city that we're in. We were in actually Ventura and Santa Barbara. And I really liked that because I've been to LA like one time, but LA is not probably going to be a place where if I'm trying to be creative, I'm going to be able to be like sit still because I'm just going to want to go see all of the city. So we kind of like got there, got our car, had some great food, and then rode out. And it was great because even on the ride, because I got to be a passenger princess. Yes, one time for the passenger princesses out here, because it's a powerful thing, especially when you are the chauffeur, the counselor, the cook, all the things for your family on a regular basis. As another thing, get y'all somebody who will make you a passenger princess, because it's a good feeling. Because in that passenger princess, I was able to make notes. I was able to start to kind of rest and reset, give myself into that mindset of, okay, I came here to help get my mind together, to help birth some dreams together. So it was cool. I got a chance to look at the beautiful scenery and it was fun. So shout out to my crew, to Chrissy and Berlina for holding it down. Yes, I did drive like once or twice, but they definitely let me be the passenger princess. We tried to give the passenger princess treatment to everybody, but I'm really grateful for those moments. So get you a crew that will let you be a passenger princess so y'all can just like rotate, because everybody deserves that feeling. But long story short story long, we got to our place and it was great. Like we just kind of settled in. We were just all about, let's go to our favorite grocery store, Trader Joe's and Target. I don't care what anybody says. When you're on vacation, we're going to always try to find our way to a Trader Joe's and a Target. Like it's amazing. So we got what we needed and we just kind of started diving in. And like I said, it didn't feel pressured. And that's another thing I think when you're taking moments of reset with other creatives or your friends, it's not about pressure. It's about, let's kind of all get on the same page about what we want to accomplish and hold each other accountable in a loving way to getting it done, but let's also connect with each other. Let's bond. And it was great to like sit up over a beautiful charcuterie board and just have amazing conversation. Just let's talk about the creative challenges we have or the goals that we're trying to accomplish. But let's also talk about where we are in our lives and some of the things that we're feeling and experiencing and try to support and encourage each other. Those moments of sisterhood are far and few between sometimes. You have to value that. And so I valued having that. And that's another thing I would definitely say if you are looking to have a reset and you're going to do something similar, make sure, kind of going back to what I mentioned earlier, you want to make sure you have people around you who are intentional. You want people around you in that space of intentionality who are nourishing, who let you feel safe, who you don't feel like you're in competition with. It's sharing is caring. And that's the kind of space that we created. And like I said, it wasn't all work. I mean, that night we got there, we had charcuterie, we laughed and talked and bonded and then went and got some sleep. Good rest is essential. I don't know about you guys, but like on average, I probably maybe sleep like 6 to 7 hours a night. And if I think about it, especially as my beautiful golden renaissance, the 50th is here, I'm probably supposed to get closer to like 8, 9 hours a night. And I'm really working my way to it because sleeping is real. I just got a deck today about nap ministry. Rest is not anything to play with. And so we did prioritize resting because you can't be your most creative self. You cannot make good, strong decisions if you are not rested. So you do have to make sure in your reset time that you prioritize rest. And so we did get some rest, but the next morning we got up and we hit it. It was really cool. Like everybody had their laptops out, everybody had their goals, their plans, and we worked. And it was good because we could bounce ideas off of each other. We could talk and, share information and teach each other. It wasn't competition, again, mentioned it's about having that good supportive group. And again, it wasn't all work. We did go out and do different things, but again, we were there focused to get things accomplished and also to lean into the intention of the moment. So it definitely kind of fed into it, but we also, like I said, did some fun things. So we spent lot of days in the house working, but we also wound up going over to Santa Barbara for the Summer Solstice Festival, and we had massages, which were amazing. I definitely recommend self-care while you are on your reset journey. And I know everybody's into the self-care, the soft life, whatever. It's real because when you give yourself chance to be well and at peace in your body, it's easier for you to cultivate good creative energy. It's easier for you to make stronger decisions because you're relaxed. Your body is not stressed and running with cortisol. You are giving yourself space to think clearly. So cultivate that. Massages are essential. I would totally recommend it. Yes, I had my first CBD massage. It was amazing. It gave me Megan Thee Stallion knees. I'm not even going to lie. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you totally have to check out. I think it's still on social media. We did like a little fun reel to Act Bad by P. Diddy, Fabulous, and the City Girls, because it's the Act Bad summer. But that CBD was working, so I had Megan Thee Stallion knees, and it was really nice. I totally am leaning that into the CBD, but it was cool. It was good. It made me feel good. See, I was like, I'm open creatively, I'm relaxed, and I have my Megan Thee Stallion knees back. I just felt like winning all over, And so we did that. And then I climbed a mountain. Yes, I climbed a mountain. I don't care. I'm sure Chrissy and Berlina, if you're listening to this, you're probably laughing. Or you probably are agreeing with me, but that was a mountain. We went to Ventura, like Botanical Gardens, for yoga and a hike. And I'm thinking when they say Botanical Gardens, I mean, I'm in Florida, so I'm thinking like, oh, flat land, easy peasy. We're driving up and I'm like, dude, looking at this, like, these are mountains. This is no light work. I'm like, oh, maybe this, like, I'm watching people go up the hills, there's mountains, to like see, oh, maybe the trail just kind of circles back around. It's real easy. Cause she's like, oh no, we're going to set the intention down here and then we're going to go up the hike and then we'll hike and we'll do yoga at the top. I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to make it halfway up the hill. You talking about all the way to the top, my G? I was like, you're putting a lot. And my Megan Thee Stallion knees had worn off. So I was like, I don't know. And so we're like setting intentions and closing our eyes. And I'm doing all that, but I'm not going to lie. I was totally stretching at the same time. Like I literally was, I was like, Lord, I have to like start to limber up to prepare myself for this journey up the mountain because I'm going to do it. And see, that's another thing as a part of a reset when you are like trying to shift your mindset and you, especially when you're in that moment where you are going to challenge yourself to do something that you've never done before, you are become super determined to not give up. And normally when I'm in those situations, I am very like typically very critical of myself. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to do this. Again, I was looking for ways out. I'm not going to lie. But once we got started, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And I just was positively speaking to myself, like, this is my race. This is my journey. I'm not competing with anybody but me. And I just want to do this. And it was beautiful to go up the mountain because there were so many intentional like stones. They have all these beautiful sayings that I guess people have donated in support of the botanical gardens. And it was so encouraging along the way. And by the time I got up to the point where I thought we were going to stop, Chrissy and Berlina were waiting for me with another young lady named Jessie. And I was like, okay, I'm so sorry I kept you guys going because I had to slow up. I was like, look, I can't catch a heart attack and stuff like that. I got to, take my time. But we wound up right on time. And she was like really nice. And like, no, she walked with us and to the yoga spot. And it was just really comforting to be surrounded by someone who was just, you're not trying to rush me through this journey. You're trying, because she was said, I'm not in a rush. I just want to enjoy the scenery and create space. And that's what it was. And it was beautiful. And I did yoga and we did yoga and there was this beautiful cross right at the top. And I have to look at the name and I'll make sure I put a link to it in the show notes so that you guys can see it. But it just, when you walked up to the space and it was just this beautiful green grass and you look up and see the cross and the ocean, you just truly knew that God was there. And that reminds me that when you're in that season of reset, you have to look for those moments where God is there. You do, because God is always in the center of everything that we do. And sometimes we forget that because, we're focused on the fact that we're trying something new and we're nervous. But you have to remember who you belong to. You have to remember who's there with you. And so that to me acts like more of a reassurance that all things are working, that this was the right thing to do. Because, excuse me, that typically what happens also when we're doing something new that we're afraid of, we start to doubt ourselves. Because like I said, I had to talk over myself to try to keep myself together. But at one point I did think, okay, how can I get down from here quicker? What if I went through the stairs? And then I was like, okay, do I really want to do that? Because the only other way down, I was like, is to jump my butt off. And I'm really not even trying to do that. So literally I had to keep going. And I was like, okay, I just have to stay calm. I have to stay positive. I have to remember who I belong to. And then to see that confirmation at the end with that beautiful cross, it was just everything I needed. So always remember that there is going to be confirmation in your season of reset. There is going to be signs and wonders there to show you that you are on the right journey. You just have to be open to look for them. And you have to be open to trying new things because again, this is a reset. You're pivoting, you're taking a shift. Don't be afraid to do something new because that new thing might be just the stretch that you needed. And so, yeah, it turned out to be just the stretch that I needed. And so if I think about it, that kind of like was the culmination of our trip. We came back like Monday night and it's been go time since then. It really has. It has truly been go time, but I'm still full from that reset moment. And I am birthing some beautiful things that I cannot wait to share with you here through the podcast. And I will say that a lot of the artists and the creatives that I have gotten scheduled coming up, I think you guys are really going to enjoy their journeys of reset, their journeys of where they are and how they find inspiration to keep going and to balance it all. And I want that for you because I know, again, many of you are trying to do things that go beyond just working. You are out here doing dreams and trying to build lives and be your best self. And I want you to see that there are so many people out here who are doing exactly that and that they have had to reset. And so don't be afraid of the reset. And like I said, you know the pull, all of those things. Lean into it. Lean into it. Lean into the person that you don't know. Lean into the new experiences that are sitting on you. Life is short. We have only so much time. Don't make permanent decisions in temporary situations. Give yourself the space and the energy to be the best version of you and to be able to understand that that might require you changing things up a bit, but it's better to change than to stay stagnant in a situation doing the exact same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Remember, we have already defined that as insanity, and that is not what we are here to do. So that's kind of like where I am like with this. Like I said, on this reset journey, it has really allowed me to open up, to be more intentional. So I am very excited about kicking off this reset moment because I needed it. I needed to kind of get back to my intention. I needed to kind of get my energy together. I was just working and very focused on trying to do all the things. And I'm still going to be out here doing all the things because I'm going to have a hot grown woman summer. But at the same time, I'm also giving myself the space that I need to grow a little bit more, to learn some new things, to meet some new people, to just continue to expand. And I look forward to sharing some amazing people with you coming up, as well as I have a really big thing that I'm working on, and I cannot wait to talk to you guys about it. I just have to get a few more details together, but it will definitely be coming soon because I am very passionate about this. And I hope that you will be just as passionate and want to participate as well, because we are all in this journey together. I know that this is a little bit of a shorter episode, but y'all know how I feel. I don't want to just dial in BS just to keep things going. I wanted to come in and kind of give you guys an update of where I am and what kind of content we're talking about this month. And I am very excited. I have some amazing people coming up. And I just want to thank you for your continued support on the journey. And I want to hear how you guys are resetting. And don't be afraid to send me an email at thewelldonelife@gmail.com. You can hit me up on socials. I've been a lot heavier on IG lately. When you travel, you get a whole bunch of content. You really do. But I'm going to try to post a little bit more because I love engaging with everyone. So I definitely want to make sure that I do that. So you can hit me up on IG at Pamela L. Davis or at the Well Done Life podcast. And I will be around. I'm also on Twitter at I am Pamela L. Davis. I only go on there to read, but definitely if you send me a message, I will respond to you. And I don't be afraid to like, share, subscribe, review. That's only going to help continue to keep the podcast going and growing in the algorithms of all these socials so that more people find us, more people join the party. And I hope that you all are having a wonderful Sunday. I know that we are also going into the 4th of July holiday. Only thing I was going to say is just be safe. Again, be safe out here. Enjoy your rest. I hope many of you are getting it. And I will be back next week with a new episode. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we will talk soon. Bye-bye.